Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Julie Hogan, filling in for Terry Stiles. In this week's news, celebrate the preservation of a valuable piece of history. The village hosts an open house, and a sheriff's patrol car is hit by a pickup truck.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Garrett Robert Badur, an Oxford Schools early college student, is facing criminal charges after he allegedly assaulted his ex-girlfriend at the high school on October 3rd, then allegedly attempted to take an Oakland County Sheriff's gun, resulting in the student firing a single shot inside the main office. No one was struck by the bullet or injured as a result. He was released on a $7,500 personal bond with numerous conditions. He is not to have contact with his ex-girlfriend. He's not allowed to be on school property, and he must wear a GPS tether. Badur has a probable cause hearing set for October 16th and a preliminary exam scheduled for October 23rd.
It appears Sylvia Marie Majewska will spend up to 25 years in prison for killing her son and granddaughter nearly 3 years ago. On October 4th, the 68-year-old Addison Township resident pleaded no contest to 2 counts of second-degree murder in Oakland County Circuit Court before Judge Denise Langford Morris. Her sentencing is scheduled for Thursday, October 26th at 8:30 a.m.
Folks are invited to help celebrate the preservation and restoration of a valuable piece of Addison Township history. An open house will be held at the 19th Century Arnold School in Watershed Preserve Park on Sunday, October 22nd from noon to 3 p.m. There will be plenty of free food, get that free, live banjo music, old-fashioned games including sack races and bobbing for apples. Everyone will have an ample opportunity to check out this historic structure and the unique artifacts contained within.
The Oxford High School equestrian team is state-bound for the 18th straight year. The 12-rider team will be heading to Midland early Thursday to compete in the 4-day Michigan Interscholastic Horsemanship Association State Championship. In 2016, the Wildcats captured the Division B State Championship. After that win, the team saw its numbers grow with several new riders joining for the new season. The team is now competing in the A Division, the largest in the state, due to the participation of new riders on the team. Stay tuned for the results, and of course, go Wildcats.
And on Monday, October 16th, the Village of Oxford will host members of the media and citizens from around the Oxford area for an informational open house regarding the upcoming M24 Streetscape construction project scheduled for summer of 2019. Open house will take place at the Oxford Public Library. The meeting will begin with a media briefing at 3 p.m., followed by a community forum session from 4 to 6 p.m. when community residents will have the opportunity to gain a better understanding of the proposed streetscape project and plans and funding strategies proposed to make it happen. At 6 p.m., the Oxford Downtown Development Authority and the Oxford Village Council will hold a special joint meeting to discuss possible approval of a grant application proposal expected to fund the large portion of the project.
A woman with nearly 25 years' experience was interviewed last week for the vacant manager position in Oxford Village. Jane Marine Hubanks talked about her history, her accomplishments, and answered questions during a special council meeting held October 4th. Hubanks worked for the City of Ferndale since 1989, where she started out as Ferndale's finance director. Over the years, she added assistant city manager and treasurer to her list of roles. Even after she retired in 2013, she continued doing consulting work for the City of Ferndale. The Village Council will determine if her experience helping to run one of Oakland County's most popular and successful cities will land her a job right here in Oxford. Stay tuned.
Police say a 60-year-old Brandon Township man driving a 2017 Chevy Silverado pickup truck crashed into a Oakland County Sheriff's Patrol car, a gravel hauler, and several trees on October 9th. According to the Sheriff's Office, narcotics used by the driver is believed to be the factor. Blood was drawn pursuant to a search warrant. However, toxicology results are pending. The crash remains under investigation. Brandon firefighters transported the deputy to McLaren Oakland Hospital in Pontiac, where he was listed in stable condition with multiple broken bones and other injuries. The Brandon driver was transported to Genesis Regional Medical Center in Grand Blanc Township, where he was listed in stable condition. The gravel hauler driver was not injured.
And that's Oxford News for this week. If you would like to learn more about these stories and others, you can catch us on our website, occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course, your regular cable channels, Charter 191 or AT&T Channel 99.
Coming up soon, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with the Sports Report, and you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Julie Hogan. Thanks for watching Oxford News This Week.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, fire has devastated large areas of Northern California, leading to at least 10 deaths, 100 serious injuries, and destruction of at least 1,500 homes. By late last Monday, wildfires had torched over 74,000 acres, mostly in the wine-growing regions of Napa and Sonoma counties, including the area around Santa Rosa. The U.S. National Weather Service, or NWS, issued a red flag warning last Tuesday, blaming near-perfect fire conditions. Warm offshore winds gusting at up to 31 miles per hour served as bellows, spreading fire in conditions of low humidity and parched vegetation. Any fires that develop will likely spread rapidly, warned the NWS. Shifting winds may push ongoing fires in new directions. The California fires are the latest in a year that has seen abnormally high wildfire activity in the U.S. On October 1st, the U.S. National Interagency Fire Center in Idaho predicted that Northern California was especially in grave risk. Weather patterns along the West Coast allowed fuels to dry and become receptive to fire, it warned. The NWS said conditions could ease in Northern California by midweek, but the South would still be at risk. Winds and the fire weather threat will have decreased last Tuesday in the north, but a threat will remain in the south of California. There is evidence that the warm winds fanning wildfires in northern parts of the state are being exacerbated by rising temperatures triggered by climate change. Guess what? And low on the ground, snakes that eat toxic food become toxic, and they know it. Japan's tiger keelback snakes eat toxic toads and store the toxins in nuchal glands on their necks. When threatened, the snake arches its neck, displaying the nuchal glands. If a predator bites the snake's neck, it will get a jet of toxic liquid. By contrast, snakes from a toad-free island flee when attacked. Akira Muro of Kyoto University in Japan and Gordon Burkhardt of the University of Tennessee in Knoxville reared snakes from toad-free and toad-rich islands on different diets. When snakes from the toad-free island ate toads, they responded to threats with nuchal gland displays rather than fleeing. This is the only example in terrestrial vertebrates where animals act as if they are aware when they are toxic and when they are not, says Burkhardt, so watch out. And in the insect world, the evidence has been mounting for years that the world's most widely used pesticides, neonicotinoids, harm bees and other pollinating insects. Now it seems the problem isn't limited to Europe and North America, where the alarm was first sounded. It is everywhere. Alex Aby at the University of Neuchâtel in Switzerland and his team asked people they knew to bring back honey when they've traveled. They got 198 samples from every continent except Antarctica and tested for pesticides. 3/4 of the samples contained at least one of 5 neonicotinoids. In 48% of the contaminated samples, the pesticides were above the minimum dose known to cause marked detrimental effects in pollinators. Finding neonicotinoids in honey is perhaps not surprising, says Christopher Connolly at the University of Dundee in the UK. But to find neuroactive levels in so many samples at so many global sites is shocking. Bees eat honey to survive winter, so the results imply chronic pesticide exposure. Recent scientific evidence shows that increased sensitivity that is, to neonicotinoids after frequent or long-term exposure, says Abbey. In 2013, the European Union temporarily banned the use of neonicotinoids on crops that attract bees. Next month, the European Food Safety Authority will decide if a total ban is warranted. And what are we doing here? In our last story, if you're not paying for it, you're the product, as the saying goes. Use a free online service and you are paying with personal data. But when it comes to genomics, you both pay and are the product. Firms charge people who want to understand their genetics, sometimes on the basis of dubious science, but also the biotech companies that buy aggregated genetic data to shape their products. Shouldn't donors get a cut? The firms argue there's no value in a single DNA sequence, but that research using the aggregated data could benefit everyone, and the tests incentivize donation. So we should let them get on with it. This call to altruism really doesn't stand up. We could donate our genomes to medicine through nonprofit agencies, much as with organs. And recent test cases cast doubt that properly informed consent is being obtained. You might also wonder if the biotech firms will cut the price of any drugs that result, given that the genome donations could slash their developmental costs. So think carefully if you buy a DNA test. Is it worth paying the price only to become the product in turn? Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. Last week was a busy one for our schools. For one thing, it was Spirit Week, leading up to the Oxford homecoming game and festivities that you'll see on this station. On this particular day, it was College Day at the high school. College shirts everywhere. Each day had a different event, culminating in a special assembly on Friday, then the game and all that goes with it. The kids in the elementary schools were celebrating too. It was Pajama Day. Everyone, including the staff, was invited to take part. Over at Lakeville Elementary, they were also preparing for an International Baccalaureate recertification visit. Teacher Christine Vince is one of our coordinators.
So this is our program evaluation, self-study. The first time you go through self-study, it's the 4 years after you're authorized, and then from here on out, then it'll be 5 years after our first one.
And what kind of things do they look at?
Well, the self-study process is like a 2-year process that we go through as teachers and as staff and a community, and we focus on what we're doing within our program that's our strengths and what are our challenges, and we review those and create an action plan for that. And then the IBO looks at that, and they look at what we say our strengths and challenges are, and then when they come to visit, they're coming to just verify that yes, indeed, we agree with you. We think that you're doing this very well. Here are some recommendations we have for you to move forward and to offer support in any way they can.
Lakeville is one of 3 of our schools being recertified this year. I also asked Christine about anything new in IB.
Right now, what we're just in the process of is trying to make our unit planners more transdisciplinary, so we can make connections throughout our day with the elements of the primary years program. Really trying to get our students to have more opportunities to reflect on their learning and to take action.
And by the way, we should mention that you don't wear pajamas to work every day.
No.
This is Spirit Week, and it happens to be Pajama Day.
Yes.
So you are in the spirit of
I
Spirit
am
Week.
in the spirit. I took action to show my spirit of community, and I'm wearing my pajamas.
The first OHS blood drive was last week, a success. Here's senior Kali Mulholland.
Blood drive, we have 3 a year, and so it's our first one for this year.
How's it going?
It's going really well so far.
Got a lot of volunteers?
Yes, we have. We're hoping to meet our goal.
Okay. And is it just today, or?
Yes, it's just during today's school day.
Team Torque 2137 is getting their shop in order for the new year. Even though they won't know the latest game until after January 1st, they've been gearing up in other ways.
For off-season, we have to train our team members with fabrication. We have to start with our machines, what basics are of safety. We have to go to mechanical, where you know components like hydraulics, pneumatics, and stuff like that, where placement needs to be, how the robot needs to be shaped. Electronics, where wiring needs to go, and things like that. Programming, and chairman's, where we do our speeches and write papers.
And so we've also been working on this. This is an opportunity for us to kind of do some housekeeping items where we kind of get a hold of all the things that get away from us once the robot build season starts. Getting our shop prepared, making sure that we have materials ordered, getting our shop organized so that we can function really smoothly. And then also last year we had one of our best years as a competitor, and we had some hardware that we need to put away. So Mackenzie's been working on some banners and some trophies.
So basically all I'm doing with some other students is we're redoing the trophy case to show off all the accomplishments that we've done throughout the season, along with hanging up the banners that really show the awards that we've won.
There's more happening this fall.
We have our RoboCat Rumble event, I believe it's November 19th, where we go and host a FLL event in our own school, helping out other teams and giving them a place to compete.
And that's an official Torque event too, isn't it?
Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Okay, what's the date of that again?
November 19th.
And that's FLL, so that involves the younger kids.
Yep, we're using our elementary programs. They compete in First Lego League, so we in conjunction with our FLL and FTC teams be putting on the RoboCat Rumble. So it'll be a good event. And then we also have on December 8th and 9th at the middle school our FTC teams, which is First Tech Challenge, our middle school edition. They will be hosting an event at the middle school for their competition.
That's a Torque event as well?
We'll be supporting it with mentors, judges, just helping around the event, keeping everything organized.
Just a reminder about the bond issue on the ballot coming up. I spent some time with Maintenance Director Tony Sarkins over at the high school.
Existing caulking that's in this siding on here all needs to be cut out of here, re-caulked and sealed. I got it all over on the building here.
At the middle school, Tony pointed out a lighting issue.
This is, I call this the west parking lot. This is the big main parking lot in the front of the middle school here. And you can see the old cedar poles. They're old, they're rotten. They got the original heads. And as you pan off to the left here, John, you'll see that over the years the heads have failed and they've broke or fell off. They've never replaced them. There's one out in the back here even farther to the left, so there's no lighting in the back of that parking lot. In the bond we're proposing is to put all new poles and LED fixtures on them. So we'll have high efficient, clean light. It'll be safe and secure for the community.
The bond and sinking fund will be on the ballot in November, and for each $100,000 of taxable evaluation, it would boost your taxes by about $75. That's around $6 a month. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Hi, it's Connie from Connie's Kitchen. I just wanted to remind you to watch us on OCTV and Uverse and okay, cut. This is Connie from Connie's Kitchen at Treetop Lodge, reminding you to watch my program on OCTV and on Charter and cut. Hi, it's Connie from Connie's Kitchen here at Treetop Lodge, reminding you to watch us on OCTV and YouTube and Charter and.
All right, cut. I think you forgot your lines, Connie.
I don't have lines.
Should have called lines.
Lines, there we go. Lines. Okay, 3, 2, 1, me.
Here we go. 3, 2.
Join me here at Treetop Lodge. This is Connie from Connie's Kitchen, reminding you that you can watch us on OCTV and YouTube, Charter Channel 199, Uverse Channel 99. Can you imagine if we had to go through this every time? Yeah, right?
Oh.
Okay, see ya. This is Connie from Connie's Kitchen here at Treetop Lodge, and I want to remind you to join me here at the Lodge for Connie's Kitchen on OCTV, on YouTube, on Charter Channel 199, on Uverse Channel 99, and enjoy the show.
What's up, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright here once again with the Sports Report. I think it's safe to say that we are in the midst of our fall sports season and it's flying by as we speak. So let's take a look and see how things are shaping up. The boys soccer team took on Fenton here at home on Tuesday, and it was a game you'd want to be at. The energy was high and it ended well with a final score of 3-1. Also, the boys tennis team competed in the Blue Conference tournament this week and finished with a total of 39 points, putting us in the 4th place spot. Harrison High School finished first. Behind them was Royal Oak and Farmington. In the 5th spot is Ferndale, and following is Hazel Park and Southfield. We finished right in the middle of the pack, which means we could have done a lot worse. Well, the boys football team have been struggling, and it's tough to say why. The varsity club took on Lake Orion here at home last week and fell to a final score of 31-14. The JV club also struggled against Orion the night before on the road. That one ended with a final of 48-7. But the freshmen continue to surprise as they have been winning this season, and that means we have some good up-and-comers on the way. They took on Lake Orion on the road as well and finished with a win of 12-7. And the girls swim team had a meet at home on Thursday against Berkeley. We dove in headfirst and came out on top. By the end of the night, our 103 points to their 77. And last but not least, the girls volleyball took on Clarkston at home and still continued to struggle. The final score was 3-0. Well, for more info on these events and others, go to oxfordathletics.org. Plenty of schedules, scores, and statistics to keep you up to date. Once again, that is oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, check us out at OCCTV.org. We have all our coverage of the sports games along with many other programs for you. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. Well, that should just about wrap things up for this week's report. I want to thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Woke up and for the first time, the animals were gone. Our clocks are ticking now, so before our time is gone, I cover my eyes, still all I see is you.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, General Motors on October 11th warned leaders of Canada's Unifor labor union that it will start to wind down production of its popular Chevrolet Equinox small crossover at an Ontario factory unless workers there call off a month-long strike. The strike has been fueled by the union's local chapter's desire for more job security. It wants GM to designate the plant the lead producer of the Equinox and the national body's opposition to the North American Free Trade Agreement. A GM official familiar with the discussion says there is a high degree of frustration with the impasse that started September 17th when about 2,500 employees walked off the job. The official said in doing so, Unifor has created a problem that doesn't exist. Unifor leader Jerry Diaz told Reuters on October 11th that GM officials said they would ramp up production of the vehicle at 2 plants in Mexico that build the Equinox in a similar model to GMC Terrain if the walkout is not called off. GM has plans in the United States that are underutilized, but retooling them to build the Equinox would be expensive. The Equinox is one of the hottest selling smaller crossovers in North America, and the automaker says it needs to start exploring other options for its production. U.S. sales of the Equinox surged 22% to over 212,700 vehicles through the first 9 months of the year. GM plans to study how quickly key suppliers to the Ontario Equinox plant could move their operations to accommodate a shift in the vehicle's production, a person familiar with the discussion said last Wednesday. However, that person said no final decision on Cammie's future has been made, but the time frame is getting a deal done is narrowing. GM's decision to build the Equinox and Terrain in Mexico is a major issue in the contract dispute between the automaker and the Canadian Union. And still at General Motors plans to establish a new defense industry unit as it seeks to grow its business with the U.S. military. The company said 2 weeks ago it's holding talks with the U.S. Army about adopting the company's new hydrogen fuel cell platform for military use and has other defense projects in the works. GM Defense LLC is expected to become part of the company's global product development organization, marking a major return to defense work after selling a previous defense unit to General Dynamics Corporation for $1.1 billion in 2003. The operations, according to officials, will be focused on helping GM better anticipate and react to diverse needs of global aerospace and defense customers. GM currently provides powertrain components such as engines and transmissions to the military, but of late it has expanded its potential military offerings. The automaker has at least 3 hydrogen fuel cell products under evaluation by the U.S. military divisions, including the new commercial platform with autonomous capabilities. GM says that it's in discussions with the Army Tank Automotive Research Development and Engineering Center about the Silent Utility Rover Universal Superstructure, or SURUS, platform. The company said SURUS could be a next step of the broader collaboration to evaluate fuel cell technology for future military operations. GM says SURUS leverages the company's newest Hydrocheck fuel cell system, which is capable of more than 400 miles of range, as well as autonomous capability and truck chassis components. It's driven by 2 electric motors. Benefits include quiet and odor-free operation, off-road mobility, field configuration, instantaneous high torque, exportable power generation, water generation, and fast refueling. Wow. And at Mazda Motor Corporation will showcase future trends in drivetrain technology and exterior design with 2 concept cars at this month's Tokyo Motor Show. The cars, previewed in teaser shots released September 10th, point to Mazda's production plans for its next-generation Skyactiv X engine and the arrival of a new design language. Skyactiv X was billed as the world's first commercial gasoline engine to use compression ignition. The powertrain was unveiled in August and will hit the market in the company's fiscal year ending March 31st, 2019. Mazda promises the new engine will boost torque by up to 30% and improve fuel efficiency by as much as 30% over its current line of engines. Mazda is positioning Skyactiv X as the underpinning of its next wave of products as it confronts stricter emissions regulations with little help from electrification. It uses a technology called Spark Controlled Compression Ignition, or SPCCI, to compress gasoline to such a high pressure that it ignites, as in a diesel engine, without the need of a spark. Wow. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
There's a lot of history to Oxford. Hidden around every corner, deep in every crack, and sometimes right in front of you, waiting